Hello, welcome back to my channel. Just in case you're new here, my name is Kay and I make videos about happy planner planning, budget planning, and home and garden planning. Today, I thought I would give you a quick look into my home and garden planner because I feel like I've made a lot of changes since we've last stepped into this. Okay, so where did we start from? Well, first of all, I'm on a low buy. I wanted to say no buy, but it's become a low buy planner year where I just didn't want to buy any planner accessories this year for 2025. I feel like in 2024 it's an area where I overspent, and I can easily overspend because I just want all the planner things. So I used let me see if I can find the cover. I used an old planner that I have. It's not a layout I prefer. In fact, I find the layout of it very challenging for me, just the way my brain works. And it had this cover on it, which I found very uninspiring. So one of the things that I had bought this year, I was determined to reuse this planner, not let it go to waste. I'm just going to continue to adapt the layout until I get to a place where I like it. I did order this cover for the planner, and there's another one coming. I really like when my planners have, let me get out my happy planner. So in 2024, I ordered, I think this was a special order cover as well, or maybe it was just this. I really like this vellum cover, personalized. So what I did was I replaced the front cover, and then I ordered another vellum personalized cover over it. It's taking a long time to get here, so I can't show it to you today. Hopefully when it arrives, it's correct. I hope, fingers crossed. Okay, so what have I done in here? Well, I filmed a previous video where I set up these tabs. This is something I prefer to do in my planners. I like to set up these front end tabs of just kind of the bigger pictures before I head into my monthly and weeklies. So the big picture for me, and we did all of this on video, so if you look back to my former videos, you'll see we're just kind of working through this as to, what's this about? And I, of course, am in pursuit of a simple, sustainable life and some of the goals, and just writing those out. I do, when I plan, just, my habits of planning, I do refer back to this. So I'm always really thankful that I take time to kind of make these big overview pages. Some checklist things of like what I intend to do in different areas to achieve this. And again, I refer back to this all the time. And then I have a planting section, and I do have some plants that have moved into the vegetative state, so I need to get that updated this weekend. But just when I'm sowing seeds, when I see them appear as seedlings, when they move into the vegetative state, and when they transplant. This past week, I moved all of my indoor seedlings into the greenhouse, so I'm going to go check on them this morning to see how they're doing. This is the section that you haven't yet seen, and it's my to-do section. My personality is I do very well in tidy environments, and my husband has the opposite personality. And the more messier, the more happy my husband is. So, we've had to negotiate space a lot through the years that we've been together. For me, I tend to do daily quick cleans. I call it home care, and I like to spend like 15 minutes or 30 minutes each morning just with home care. And that may entail a quick sweep of a floor, a quick wipe down of counters, just simple, quick things. I made these charts for more of a deep cleaning. So, for example, my living room, we have some special need rabbits that live in our living room, so I can keep my eye on them. And sweeping around their home is a daily thing for me, but it's a small sweep. Now, I also, on the weekends, often do a deep sweep where I move everything, I sweep up. We have an indoor dog, we have the rabbits, so fur is a real thing here. And so I made these charts for the deep cleaning days, not the little days. And what I'm doing is I just kind of, highlighted little boxes. And today, this morning, I was cleaned out the toilet and the sink in the guest bathroom. And then when I do it next, I'll put it here. And then when I do it next, I'll do it here. I like to have a overview page like this so I can see when the last time was that I did something. Some of these things may be, nobody ever uses our guest bathroom, so it tends to get dusty and the water sits in the toilet for a while. So you may see I only do this once a month. I don't know, once a month, maybe clean the rugs. Well, that depends. Sometimes my little puppy likes to, he's not a puppy, he's an old man, but he's little. He likes to actually go in and lay on the bathroom rug. So if he's doing that, I may clean the rugs more often. But some of these things you'll see I do weekly. Some of these things, it may only be monthly, but it is the big overview. So I just made up, we have a very small house, so it was a pretty simple list for me. We have the master bathroom. We have the guest bathroom. I have the living room area. I have the bedroom, the office, the kitchen, and the dining room. And again, I only put, what I didn't want to do is sometimes on the home care charts that I see, there's like under bedroom, there's like 15 things. That can easily overwhelm me. I have to be very sensitive to the checklist that I make for myself. First of all, I have an obsession with completing it. So it will actually start to drive anxiety for me. And then second of all, I think I just get like kind of scatterbrain of like, oh, there's so many things. What do I do first? So I just kept it sweet and simple for each one of these things. The main things I will do in these areas. So when I have like a special project in the area, I'll show you where I'm going to keep track of that. So these are just the big overviews, and I just created these pages so I could see at a glance how often I'm doing it, when I'm doing it, when's the last time I did it, do I need to do it this weekend, and so forth. So I made a master list for household, and then I also made a master list for garden. And what I did is, ouch, I have to move that money jar. It sits right where my foot goes, under the desk. Okay, so for the garden, we have 9 acres. But there's areas of the garden that require consistent attention, and that would be the greenhouse. And what I'm going to be tracking is when I water, when I'm sowing seeds, when I'm transplanting in the greenhouse, and when I'm propagating in the greenhouse. This one's a vulnerable one for me. When I propagate, it's easy for me to forget that I've got those those cuttings going, and not pay attention to them for 4 days, which is not what I want to do. And then we have Starlight Hollow, which is the bigger, it's not big, but it's a bigger gardening area. And that's where we grow our veggies. So, what I need to do there is water, sow, and weed. So I'm just going to keep track of that. We have a prayer garden, and I've got some chores there that I want to, on the master list, consistently track when I'm doing it. And again, it doesn't mean this is all I do in those areas, but these are the main things that I want to keep track of. We have a second chance garden, and this is where if I see the last thing I brought into the second chance garden was a rose bush that was very, very old, that belonged to a woman who could no longer take care of it. And it was just, just about ready to die. And she had asked me if I would take it in and bring it back to life. And I did. And that's where I put things from that need a second chance at life. I plant in the second chance garden. Also, when I go to Lowe's and I go into their clearance rack and there's something that, I'm not quite for sure if it's going to survive, it goes into the second chance garden. And then I have a backyard and a front yard. Our backyard is pretty, when we bought the land here, it was just raw land. And we've been here, well, in June, it will be our 2nd year. So it's still a lot of raw land. Our backyard is, you just got to close your eyes when you go back there because it's not a pretty area at all. I do have a few plants back there and I neglect them. So this was a really important one for me. I don't want to neglect them anymore. I want to remember that they're back there. We've also planted a couple trees back there and things, so it does need maintenance. And then we have a front area, and I definitely have a lot of rose bushes there. So that's my chore chart and how I plan on tracking it. And then I also have a seasonal chart. So I made a winter master list, and these are the projects. These are the things outside of my normal chores, but these are the projects, things I need to do and accomplish before winter's over. And so that whole section is new. And then of course I have a planning section, which we've seen. I have a kitchen section. I was just kind of going through, I'll add to this, but as I thought of things for self-sufficiency, sustainable lifestyles, things that would allow me to preserve my food. I was just making a list of what I had already. And some of these things I've had for 20 plus years, so didn't require any purchasing of these things. I did break my food processor, so at some time I'll have to get a new food processor. I'm not in a rush. And then I have the budget, and this is really important for me because this is an area where I can easily overspend as well in the garden. So what I've done is I've started to keep monthly budget pages, and then I'm going to have a monthly budget overview of what I spent in the garden. So yeah, I'm very pleased with that. You can see here under budget, I've got some home habits that I've changed to save money. And I'm just slowly going to keep on adding things to this list of what I can do to save money. My initial goal was to save $1,000 a year on just the way I tended to the home. Because remember, when we look at budget, it's about what you earn, but it's also about what you save, right? So we have to pay attention to both. I used to have a blog for a farm that I lived on for many years called Rose Hill Farm. And this was in the original blogging days. What was the blog spot? And I met a lot of other farmers and gardeners during that time. And there was a woman that I watched all the time and got to know a little bit, as much as you can know in the blogging space. And she always really labored over this point. The way her and her husband, and gosh, this was years ago. At that time, she was, in her 70s with her husband. So, but she really spoke to this point on, in their relationship, their marriage, they had made the determination that he would work and she would, because she was an excellent gardener, and she grew the majority of their food that you can grow. And she really spoke about this a lot, and it really left an impression on me on how, while he was working outside of the home, she too held a full-time job inside the home. And her full-time job was to provide for the family as well. And they raised children, in this lifestyle. And she did that by growing food, by preserving food, and saving the money that he brought home. She found ways to save that money. I always admired that. She really gave value to her role as the saver and the provider through what she grew and what she saved. Anyway, it was just, it left its impression on me. So I still have that thought, but I certainly have had a period in my life where being self-sufficient, when I left the farm, I kind of left that behind. And I haven't really made a video about that, but I always just say, my time at Rose Hill was the best of times and the worst of times. And when I left, it was just important to my healing that I closed the door tightly. And I just kind of developed a new lifestyle. And regretfully, that lifestyle led to overspending, a hungry heart that just constantly wanted more, overconsumption, and all of that was just kind of mindless. So, it was something that I experienced, something that I went through. I own it, and I recognize it was an important season for me. As they say, I'm going to keep finding ways because I want to reach my goal of $1,000, and if I could go above it, great. Now, here's where this doesn't get pretty. Monthly overviews, I love them. I kind of started to play with this as to what I wanted to put on my monthly overview because I haven't really had a big home and garden planner before. Generally, it's incorporated into like my happy planner. But I really wanted to focus on this in 2025. I feel it's such an important journey for my husband and I. We're, in our mid 50s. We're now starting to think about what might retirement look like for us. And we've just shifted our goals and kind of, when we look out, that vision just looks a little bit different today. So yeah, I'm just kind of toying with this. What killed me with this planner was this layout. I just can't. I cannot. I struggled with it from the get-go. So you can see here, I'm just struggling. This is just me, just struggling here. And then I thought, okay, some doodles, some, vision goals here, some pictures of progress. I'm starting to get, a little bit going. Lose it. Yeah. Here's February. Now I'm starting to get in a groove here. Weather is very important to our land here and our property. So what I'm going to start to track, I know for sure, is the exceptional weather. Whether it be through a storm, whether it be for unusually hot days. This is important for me for the garden maintenance when this comes. Yesterday was just a blah day. I think it was like in the mid 60s. We're expecting the same, maybe some rain again on Friday. So these were really unusual days, beautiful gardening days. I'll keep tracking things like that. Again, very, very important to the land. And then you can see here the first week where, okay, I'm starting to get into it a little bit. Putting the pictures here, while I love how that, goes with a week, I realize it causes difficulty with writing on the next pages. Your writing gets lumpy and bumpy. So I'm still it's getting better. I'm starting to work out something. And then this week, it kind of clicked in place. And what I've ended up doing is these boxes, I'm going to really look at the kitchen care and kitchen activities in the top row. I'm going to look at the garden in the bottom row, and then home in the last row. And what I've done for this week, and I love that, one good thing about the disc planners is you can move things. So what I don't finish this week, I'm just going to move into the next week, this to-do list. I'm just going to keep it moving throughout the month. And then I'll create a monthly to-do. These are little things I want to do in these areas that are not on that main chore chart. For example, I need to put together a vacuum cleaner and vacuum my office. I haven't been able to vacuum my office for weeks because my old vacuum broke. Hang my new tape holder. These are just little tiny chores that I want to do, or things I need to get, that I'm just going to keep, moving and active in the weeklies to remind myself. And then I am starting to chart things that I'm doing, and I'm going to keep track of that. This week was the first week this planner settled in. I feel like, okay, I can use it, because up to this week, I was having this mental chatter of like, don't allow yourself to go crazy with this for the entirety of the year. Just go buy a new planner. Okay, go buy a planner. And I just couldn't do it. And I think that's because I had felt guilty because I ordered a cover for this. I had wanted to have a no spend on planner accessories, and I ordered a cover, and then I ordered tabs, and then I ordered from Etsy about a week ago some of my stickers that I do use in my planners that I'm running low on. For example, I had to order more. Where is the sheet? More YouTube stickers. This sheet has lasted me for a very long time, but I started to get worried of, oh gosh, I'm going to be out probably in a couple months of YouTube stickers. I do like to track that, so I had to order more of those. I think I was just feeling super duper guilty, and that's what kept me from buying a new planner. But today, of course, I'm glad that I didn't buy the new planner because I think I'm going to be okay with this one. So that's a tour of my home and garden planner, and I'll start to make regular videos just like I do my weekly check-ins with my happy planner, my weekly or my, whenever check-ins with my budget planner, and I'll start doing the same for home and garden. Again, I'll make sure that I label it in a clear way, so if you're not interested in home and garden, you can skip that video. Yeah, planning this week has just been amazing. I've been, when I say this week, I mean over the weekend and Monday, Tuesday, and this morning. Yeah, I've just been really feel like I'm getting in a groove with it, and I feel super duper organized. I am doing my $1 million morning routine, loving it. Well, except for the drinking of the water before caffeine. That always is still making me a little bit nauseous. I'm not used to drinking water in the morning that early, so my body's adjusting to that. But otherwise, $1 million morning routine, loving it. Okay, well, that's it. It is Wednesday, and I hope you all are having a good week, and I'll be back again. I think my next video will be another budget video, so I will speak to you again in a couple of days, and until the next time, may you be blessed.